So tomorrow marks the 14th anniversary of the first video to truly go viral on.
Yes.
Oh, right. Well, that looked like it really hurt. So that, I think I watched that video for an entire year straight when it came out. So the Charlie Bit Me video has over 880 million views on YouTube. And soon it's going to be auctioned as an NFT and removed from the platform altogether. Now, Origin Protocol is the company behind the auction, and it's previously made waves in the NFT space, breaking a record earlier this year with the Blau NFT that sold for $11.7 million. Okay, joining us now, we have Charlie Davies-Carr, who is no longer a baby, his brother Harry, and their dad Howard. Welcome, guys.
Welcome to the Hash.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey.
All right, so I guess my first question is, whose idea was it to make this an NFT? Which one of you learned about NFTs first?
So that would have to be me. I did my research, found out about what it was all about, and then went to the boys to see if they were happy about it, and also discussed the possibility of removing it from YouTube with them to see what they thought of that.
It's awesome that you guys are jumping on the NFT world. You have seen previous examples of people who, had early memes go viral on the internet using NFTs as a route to kind of monetize that, which is cool. But I'm interested. Your fingers still hurt. That seems like it was a pretty hard bite that Charlie did there. Like, how did things work out? Was there bad blood there?
Yeah, it's just about recovered, but he's still in my books.
Just about. Something I'm really curious about, we've seen like various memes and stuff like that being sold as NFTs and like Disaster Girl, for example, but you rarely kind of hear about the human element between like that memeing and then like the selling of the NFT. So Harry, Charlie, I'm curious about how this has maybe impacted your life or what it's been like kind of seeing this video maybe follow you around so often, just given how many views it's had.
Yeah, like on a normal day-to-day basis, we don't really see the impacts of it. But especially like when we join a school for the first time, everyone talks about it for the first 2 weeks or so, and then it calms down. Or when we went to America and we did quite a few interviews, a lot of people come up to us and ask for a photo or whatever. So yeah, that's when it is really cool.
Do you know the Disaster Girl image? Like, do you know her? Is there like sort of a support group for like children who go viral? Like, do you guys have like a group text message or something? Like, how does that work?
A lot of us did meet up a few years ago because we did a Delta Airlines meme.
I remember
video.
that. I loved that.
Yeah, and that was great because we met up with a lot of fellow virals at the time. So. But yes, there isn't, unfortunately, no. It's a good idea. I think I should start a support group.
Yeah, you could spin up the subgroup of the NFT. The virals who've done NFTs would be like that would be an interesting conversation as well, because it does kind of sort of give you this ability to sort of take the power back of this image that's been distributed millions of times across the globe. When you talk about bringing this down from YouTube and you talk about sort of putting your stamp of ownership on this thing, what does that mean to you personally? Is that sort of is that a moment of reflection, of power? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's a mixture. So, I mean, I think when people are looking at the video, they see some kind of culture, some kind of history of the internet, and they look at YouTube as someone that's preserving that. But in reality, working with YouTube over the years, they've changed the way we work with them. To the point where a couple of years ago they marked the video as made for children and took away a lot of our ability to engage with people. And that made a big difference for us because we've engaged with the audience and people leaving comments an awful lot over the years. And I've said, on many occasions that we've had very private discussions with people. And the general theme is that the video has meant something for them at a time in their life when it was important for something to be positive. So that was always key to us, and the fact that then YouTube took that away, NFT is now our way to re-engage, if you like, with an audience. Yes, at first sight, if you don't understand what the whole NFT market is and what's going on, it looks like we're just selling it to one person who could then tuck it away somewhere. But I think if you look at where the NFT market is likely to go, it's a different way of engaging. It's a more dynamic way of engaging. And we engaged early with YouTube because that was the way to share videos. We're now engaging early with NFT because we think that's the future. From my point of view, I've always been in bleeding edge technology as well. So, I was working on cloud technology before people knew about clouds, and I was working on various different ways of doing things on the internet and computing, again, before other people knew these things existed. So for me, it's a very natural thing. I understand it.
And so there's been this sort of...
Go ahead, Ben.
Just all
okay, I was just going to ask, no, I'm curious. There's been this sort of huge environmental debate going on in cryptocurrency, and that extends to NFTs too, about kind of like the energy use and consumption and things like that. So I'm curious to think how you're thinking about that process and maybe get your thoughts on kind of the environmental impact of NFTs.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I'll let Harry say something in a minute, but I mean, I experimented with mining last year, and I took it from the point of view that, a few years ago, I had solar panels put on the roof. And what I did is I only mined when I had free energy, which wasn't being consumed somewhere else. It's a fairly, from my point of view, it's a fairly simple concept, but obviously I'm not going to be doing an awful lot of that. But I'm sure there are places where we could make much better use of non-carbon fuels. But Harry, because Harry has something particular he wants to do with the NFT.
I mean, I do want to make sure that at least some of what we make goes towards offsetting the carbon made using this NFT. I think that's important.
Yeah, so he's committing to say that we'll put a sum aside before even we take anything ourselves to offset some of the cost of crypto mining.
I think that's such a great point you bring up about how flexible mining is with energy consumption, that you can shut it off, you can just use it in off hours. And I think a lot of people miss that point when they're talking about the energy debate there. Do you have any idea of what are your predictions for how much this NFT might go for?
Price point predictions.
So we deliberately haven't done that because we don't want to be disappointed or set expectations. I mean, it's an auction, anything could happen. We've committed to certain things, i.e. the offset. We've committed that at our cost we want to go and meet the person that wins and redo the video, or at least they can donate it to a charity or something else, and we'll do that. So we have an element of costs up front, which we've invested into this. And from our point of view, we'll be glad if we cover those and maybe have a little bit on top of that. So no expectations at all.
Is the auction only in crypto?
So from what I understand, there's 4 currencies that can be used, but yes, it's only in crypto.
I have another question. I mean, you guys seem very tech savvy, so I don't think that you had a problem minting this NFT. But when you think about video creators, other people who you may have come across in your work who want to mint their YouTube videos the same way that you guys did, do you think there's an educational barrier there, or do you think it's quite simple?
Well, I mean, we did a lot of research and we understood the market and what we were getting into, and we chose Origin because they understood what we were doing. They have people that have been in YouTube, they have people in social media, so the whole concept of what we were doing was understood by us all. I think there are other people that may just be maybe led down a certain route, maybe not doing all the research that they need to do or could do. But I'm not sure there's barriers because I think there are people out there to help people if they want to do this. I think it's more a case of are people doing it for the right reason in the first place, and do they understand the consequences?
And speaking about kind of paths, Will, take it away.
Yeah, I'll jump in there really quick. So besides the proceeds for kind of offsetting carbon, offsetting initial costs, do you guys have any plans besides that? I mean, it's an auction, so kind of we're interested in knowing where that might go. You guys getting Lambos for both Harry and Charlie? Is that on the table?
I mean, all the money that we've made from the video so far has gone into our education. So probably carry on going towards that, and then university later on down the line is probably where most of it will go.
So they're not allowed fast cars or anything associated with fast cars.
Gotcha. And so speaking about kind of paths and going down, we're seeing a number of like various NFT platforms and marketplaces like really kind of pop up. I'm curious about what drove you to the platform you chose, particularly just looking at the spread of, options that are out there.
We were talking specifically about Origin Protocol.
Yeah.
Yes. So as I said, I mean, when we were looking and when I was talking with various people, the first point was we wanted something personalized. So this auction is being run on charliebitme.com. So that's our domain name. And Origin are running the auction from that. So immediately it's personalized as opposed to feeling as though you're selling something on a generic platform like eBay. That was important. Secondly, we wanted a platform that wasn't necessarily doing lots, but they were doing specialized, or they were focusing in certain areas. And again, Origin were very much in that space. And the other piece as well is that a lot of the people in Origin and the founders and contributors have either come from YouTube or have been in YouTube. I think also Instagram and various other things. So they're very much involved in social media as opposed to just this being another business venture of something which they're already doing. All those things together meant that Origin was, for us, was a really, really good choice.
No, it's interesting. You're making me think about these things as sort of like retail boxes, like Walmart versus like a boutique shop or something like that, which is probably a little of the real world I hadn't really considered. But Naomi, hit us with the final one.
All right, final question. You're diving into blockchain technology. Have you guys have been diving into cryptocurrency as well? And if so, what are you diving into?
Yeah, if you guys want to take that.
Naomi, you're asking them to shield their bags? Come on.
I know. What's in your bags?
I just want to know, because they're different technologies, right? So blockchain technology is the underpinning of cryptocurrency. Is it a similar interest to you guys?
So for me, I've understood the whole cryptocurrencies and blockchain and the relationships and how everything works. So I have a good understanding of how this is going. But it's fairly new for us as well. I think probably the most positive way I can answer that question is that as a result of the auction, we're hoping that we'll be able to retain some of the cryptocurrency and become NFT buyers ourselves. Up until this point, probably all the different variants have been fairly unimportant because we haven't been in that space. But going forward, what we're hoping to be is one of those people or a group of those people that can actually be putting back into the NFT market and taking that forward.